This news update is brought to you by
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connect to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Monday, August 31st, and time for the Barbados Today evening update. With the news, I'm Fernella Wedderburn. Our top story, 2 St. Michael women lost their lives this morning following a collision in St. Philip. Dead is 49-year-old Michelle Gibson of Cave Hill, who was the front seat passenger of a car driven by 38-year-old Shanti Bowen of Early Tenantry, Cave Hill. She died on the scene when the car collided with a pickup driven by 35-year-old Jonathan Brewster of Silly Hill, St. John. The backseat passenger, 37-year-old Candice Clark, succumbed to her injuries at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Shanti Brown received facial injuries while Jonathan Brewster was treated for shock. The accident occurred about 9:45 a.m. at the junction of Tranquility Drive and Congo Road. Police investigations are continuing. Meantime, lawmen are also probing another incident, this time on a Bagatelle main road, in which 3 people, including a 9-year-old child, was seriously injured. 43-year-old Mark Cox of Silver Hill Christchurch, who was the driver of the car, and his passengers, 34-year-old Joanne Odell and 9-year-old Joel Odell, had to be rushed to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for medical attention after they had to be removed by the jaws of life from the vehicle. The other vehicle was driven by 33-year-old Andre Worrell of Blackrock, St. Michael, when the incident occurred about noon. In more news from the Royal Barbados Police Force, 38-year-old Cedric O'Neill Maynard is facing a charge of murder in connection with the death of Christopher MacDonald Callender. Callender died from a stab wound which he received while at the Zanzibar in Nelson Street. Maynard, who is also charged with 2 counts of serious bodily harm involving 2 other men in the same incident, is expected to appear in the District A Magistrates Court tomorrow. Meantime, a 14-year-old boy has been remanded and will reappear in the juvenile court on Wednesday for the illegal possession of a firearm. The teenager received a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the leg on Saturday and was treated and discharged from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. The Barbados private sector wants the government to give a definite statement on the proposed multi-million-dollar controversial waste-to-energy Caveville project. There have been strong objections from the public since the news of the proposed project broke, with residents citing safety and environmental concerns. Chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Alex MacDonald, confirms that a letter has been sent to Prime Minister Frondell Stewart following a social partnership meeting at the end of July, expressing concerns about the level of uncertainty surrounding the project.
The spirit of what the letter says is that there's a grave level of uncertainty about it because there's a lot that's being said. A number of different people are saying a lot of different things, but what we're not having is a very clear position from the government that says, is this an agreement and so on. For us, whereas we don't specifically wish the government to address the private sector as a body, although that would be acceptable and fine to us, is that because when we move through our communities, our employers, our colleagues, our employers, nobody knows exactly what the final position is, and we do think that the government needs to issue a definitive statement that addresses point by point the assertions that are being made.
The leaders of Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are warning fishermen who repeatedly fish illegally in each other's territorial waters that they will be prosecuted. Prime Minister Frondell Stewart and his Vincentian counterpart, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, echoed these sentiments this afternoon after signing an agreement at government headquarters, which sets out the maritime boundaries between the 2 islands. Both prime ministers also agreed that right now there are no problems being experienced by their fishermen in plying their trade at sea. Dr. Gonzalez said there were other options to arresting and charging the fishermen, particularly those who fish illegally in a first or a second time.
Under the law in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I suspect it's the same in other countries. You can say, listen, this is the amount of fish you catch. How much of it you're going to leave with us? You think half would be a reasonable sum that you leave for us? I mean, sometimes the hospital needs some fish, and so on and so forth. If you are a repeat offender, they may take all the fish. They say, what about your tackle? Do you think we should go with that too? You know, so that there are practical things you can do. It would be, we would not be involved in the confiscation of a Caribbean man's vessel, because that is his livelihood.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Got it in my hand, yeah. My Barbados, my bank. Got to understand, yeah. My Barbados, my bank. Ain't nothing like a core bank spare. None of them others just can't compare. You just got to love that taste. It's the world-class thing this land makes. Whether I'm cruising or at a bar, whether I'm at home, my bank spare is never far. For this blessing, got to give God thanks. My Barbados, my bank.
To news from the region, we head to Dominica, where our Marie-Claire Williams is getting a first-hand look at the recovery efforts on the way there following Tropical Storm Erika. Marie-Claire, what can you tell us at this hour?
Good evening to you, Fenella. As we speak, we are now waiting to leave Petit Taban. The Coast Guard, the Barbados Coast Guard, has completed the evacuation of a number of persons there. They've completed the evacuation of 200 people there, and they had help from the personnel from Antigua and Barbuda Fire Service, as well as the Dominica Fire Service, and also Venezuelan. So it was a major operation here today, and they are now awaiting the signal to leave Petit Taban, where the residents will be taken to one of the secondary schools in Roseau. I have been told it is the Dominica Grammar School, and they will be sheltered there for a while until other arrangements are made to resettle them elsewhere. And Petit Taban, I must remind you, is one of the hardest hit areas by Tropical Storm Erika, when that weather system dumped up to 12 inches of rain on the island, leaving a number of areas destroyed, and especially infrastructural damage, and hundreds of people were affected.
Our Marie-Claire Williams there in Roseau, Dominica. On the international scene, all flights grounded in the West African country of Cape Verde as a hurricane with 140 mph winds slams into the island. The country is under hurricane warning as Met officials predict coastal flooding due to strong winds and rains.
Hurricane Fred in the eastern Atlantic is currently impacting the Cape Verde Islands. Hurricanes are relatively rare in this part of the world. This is only the third known hurricane to impact the Cape Verde Islands. Earlier on Monday, it was producing winds of 140 kilometres an hour with gusts higher than that, as well as very heavy rainfall and coastal flooding as well. In fact, the rainfall may total around about 250 millimetres by the time we get to Tuesday. Damaging winds set to continue over the next 24 hours or so. Heavy rain, as I mentioned, and coastal flooding could be a real problem. But it does look like the storm passes through relatively quickly, so weakening during the course of Tuesday.
That report there from the BBC. And that's news. For more, log on to www.barbadostoday.bb. Subscribe to our e-paper, our email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Flow TV, that's channel 101, and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Do have a pleasant evening.